Good afternoon to Paul Gately, CEO Obesity UK. Paul, I just want to touch upon this story. Reported today that junk food will be banned, ads of junk food banned before 9 p.m. and online in a bid to tackle childhood obesity. Is that really the best that we can do to stop kids eating crap food? I know you and I are going to disagree on that. What about parents taking responsibility?
Well, it's certainly not the best we can do. I totally agree with you on that one, Jeremy. I think this is a very small measure which will have very limited impact. It will impact on some. The evidence is clear that advertising has an influence. But I totally agree with you. It's not the best we can do. Do we blame parents and do we get them, make them all feel terrible about what bad parents they are to change everything? I don't think so.
Yeah, but why is it... Hold on a second. I'm not being difficult at all, because that's the essence of a democracy. Why is it making them feel terrible, right? Parents, there are many brilliant parents who cook for their kids, who take their kids out, and there are many who... And I've done it. You get lazy, you put them in front of an iPad, you get them a fast food meal because you're knackered and it's whatever day. There is a huge responsibility on parents. I don't think to call them out or make that comment is going to hurt. If they're that soft, they shouldn't have bleeding kids, should they?
I'm not saying they are not responsible, but they're not totally responsible. You're showing images of confectionery that's available in local supermarkets.
Yep.
We've just talked about advertising. We've talked about school and school. I want to talk about school and school food.
Yep.
That's a major problem. Government have been ineffective on obesity for the last 25 years. They have a responsibility. Parents have a responsibility. Advertisers have a responsibility. So I'm with you, Jeremy, that parents have a responsibility, but I certainly wouldn't label it on their shoulders as in contrast to the advertising ban. All of it is important. And actually different parents, different families will need different levels of support or levels of nudges.
I was reading something the other day that in London nearly 30% of kids are obese, and definitely obesity, which leads to so many illnesses, diabetes as we know, and organs, problems with major organs, is a scourge. We talk about the problems of the NHS, and undoubtedly those are tied in. If you were given a blank piece of paper, and I wish we had more time, how would you cure this problem? Because it is a problem that is not going to go away. I hear about climate change and all these things every single day, but child obesity is I'm going to say massive, you know what I mean? It's a huge, you know what I'm saying? Well, I can't say anything, can I? It's a problem that needs dealing with, isn't it?
It's a problem with 1 in 3 of our children will die young because of their weight. Simple as that. And we've got no government intervention at all. That's the point. And of course, parents are part of that solution, but we all are part of that solution. If we're really serious about caring for 1 in 3 of our children, we need to act and act comprehensively.
What do the government need to do, briefly?
They need to lead. They need to, 10 years ago, there was thousands of support programs for children across the country. There are none now. There are 4.5 million children that if they were there are 4.5 million children who have a weight problem. There are 500,000 children that, if they were adults, would be immediately eligible for surgery, and there's no help for them. I believe that is a disgrace.
No, I'm not saying that, but how do you turn those fat kids, sorry, I'm being totally straight, into healthy kids? If you're me, you're looking at that and you're thinking, the parents aren't giving them breakfast because I see it, and they go to the shop on the way and they buy pop and they buy chocolate. Now, they then go to school, and presumably the school lunches, which they hoard up on, are not nutritional and are full of sugar. So tell me, briefly, in 1 minute, what the government needs to do to stop this.
So they need to address the school issue, they need to address the advertising issue, and then they need to make sure that support services are available via the NHS to help children and their families manage their weight. The ones that are at the more serious end of the spectrum, because it will shorten their life. That's. But
how do you change getting to that point rather than, dealing with it when it's a problem? How do we stop the problem?
So you asked me how we address the problem. Well, with 1 in 3 kids, you can't stop the problem with the 1 in 3 that have the problem. That's really the major issue, Jeremy, is that actually 2 in 3 kids are okay. So let's not worry too much about the 2 in 3 that are okay. Let's worry about the ones that have the problem. They're the ones that are going to be suffering with type 2 diabetes, forms of cancer, heart disease in the future. So I'd certainly be putting my money in helping those that have the problem get rid of the problem.
Good man. Thank you very much indeed. Although very short, very interesting. Paul Gately, CEO of Obesity UK.